And for those who usually join us by now, you know that when we do this, we're also live we're live simultaneously on Facebook and YouTube. And if you need to locate us, it's just PLIDE, PLIDE, GAD, GAHRD on Facebook, and on YouTube there's just a hyphen in between those two. That's PLIDE hyphen GAHRD, Global Advocacy for Human Rights and Due Process and PLIDE. So I want to welcome you today. It's a huge pleasure having you with us tonight again. Even as we gather here to discuss more happenings, developments in our nation, Nigeria, because quite a lot has been going on and a lot continues to happen. And it is important that we find occasions such as this to be able to deliberate on them, to be able to rub minds together, to be able to give voice to the views of many, and to be able to profess solutions, because it is all well and good talking about the problems of Nigeria or talking about the problems of the nations where we find ourselves. And I on a personal note, I always say this, that my grandmother in the village, if you actually went to her and said to her that can you analyze Nigeria's problems, she can actually sit you down. Everybody knows the problems, and even the market women who do not even know have anything knowledge of how the FX market or econometrics does work. A lot of times you ask them why the prices of commodities have gone up, and the first thing they say to you is that, you know what, dollar, they use the local dialect, dollar has gone up. So the problem, a lot of people know the problem. The issue is the solutions. What are the solutions to these issues? And that's why we've got to get to that point where we move away from talking about the problem again and again and again. Talking about the problem again and again and again, what it does is actually make us begin to sound like broken records. But we believe that we can actually provide solutions, provide answers, give events, give a voice to alternate views that are different from the ones espoused by the rulers, by those in power, not just the rulers alone, because you don't have to be in power to influence the course of a nation. But the captains of industries and opinion molders, influencers, and I'm not just talking about influencers on social media who do nothing else other than take money from others and influence opinion for the benefit of those who have paid them, the pipers who have paid them, who naturally dictate the tunes to them. So tonight we're going to be basically discussing the state of the nation, the state of the Nigerian nation. And last week was a brilliant one on this forum. We had quite a few people here discussing, looking at the things happening in Nigeria from different angles, looking at the especially the clamor for separate statehood by different actors, by various components of the Nigerian states. You've got the Igbos who have reawakened the spirit of Biafra and who want to go on their own. They want to create a state comprising of all a nation state comprising of the current state in the southeast of Nigeria, as well as annex more or less all the states of the southern of the south, the Niger Delta. And of course, you've had that argument from those in the Niger Delta. Many of them have consistently said they are not part of the Biafra nation, and they do not see why they should be part of the Biafra nation. And of course, as well, you've got those in the southwest, the agitators in the southwest, led by Professor Banji Akintoye, and of course, the well-known, the popular Chief Sunday Adeyemo, aka Sunday Igboho, And of course, you know that we all know too well by now that 2 weeks or thereabout ago, his home was invaded, and in fact, it's not actually up to about 9 or so days ago, his home was invaded. And he has been declared wanted currently, and of course the other agitator you have Nnamdi Kanu, who is currently in detention on the orders of a court, of a federal high court in Nigeria, pending when his case will be called on the 26th of July 2021. And in the meantime, arrests continue to be made on a daily basis of ESN, those quote and unquote UGM, unknown gunmen, Eastern Security Network. Many continue to be arrested. The military has gone with the, orders of the president, who has ordered them to actually go on the offensive as much as possible and make no space habitable for all these forces. But of course, the kidnaps continue with the schools in the north of Nigeria. The Baptist school, Bethel, had so many of their pupils taken away recently, coming on the heels of the federal government college students who were taken away a few weeks back. Some of it's not all of them that are back yet. Within Nigeria, what are the solutions to these problems? And of course, on the economic front, the foreign exchange market continues to be very unfavorable to Nigeria, because you've got the currency in the black market. The pound sterling is sterling for 700 plus, and I believe that the dollar is tethering on the verge of 600 to a dollar, 600 naira to a dollar. And of course, people have accused us that we're a nation of ostentatious people, a nation where people just want to buy things from abroad. People even want to import toothpick if possible. So they blame us for the evil that happens in the country. And of course, the USSD in the banking sector as well, and Nigeria is one of those wonderful places where when you keep your money in the bank, your money can actually continue to grow on a reducing balance basis. If you put 50,000, the next time you go there, rather than pay interest, and at times you just see that the 50,000 naira has become 48,000, 47,000. If you're trying to find out why, you just see there's no COT. So why? What is going on? Excuse me. But then you have USSD SMS charges, this charge, card maintenance charge, that charge, and before you know it, you just go like, what is really going on here? So it is all well and easy to look at the center and we pour all our problems on the person called Buhari. But what are we playing? What part are we playing at our local sector? What role are we playing to make our society safe? It is, I agree with you, my Sergeant, it is indeed a complex and funny nation. To discuss the topic today, we've got, we're going with our in-house panelists today, but we're expecting shortly the former chairman of the National Human Rights Commission and former national president of the Unity USOSA Unity Students Unity Schools Old Students Association, Dr. CHIDI Anselm ODINKALU. We're expecting him to join us before the end of the program, not as a panelist, but just someone to give a perspective on certain questions and certain aspects of the conversation tonight. And hopefully we'll be having him join us next week properly as our main discussant. So I'm just going to introduce our discussants today. First of all, it is my pleasure to recognize the presence of our Secretary General, who works in the finance industry himself. He's a man of many parts, a former student union leader, Comrade Shola Fayemi. You're welcome to this program. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Convener. It's my pleasure being here once again.
Thank you so much. Next, it is my pleasure to also recognize the presence of our Deputy Secretary General, himself as well, incidentally also a former student union president as well. And I believe currently the state secretary of his alumni association. Is also a man who one of those that I see really, really going far in the affairs of the country. It is my pleasure to also introduce Comrade Kenny Okunuga. Kenny, thanks for joining us. And of course, all the way from United Arab Emirates, our Assistant Secretary General, Comrade Kehinde Akonde. Kehinde Akonde, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you. And also, it is my pleasure as well. We're expecting a few more people. It is my pleasure to welcome our director of the Maternal and Infant Mortality Project, is Mr. Oladayo Afolabi. Oladayo Afolabi, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone.
And finally, it is my pleasure to also recognize the presence of one of our graduating, convocating, should I say, convocating members. So a staff of the, I believe, Osun State Radio Vision Corporation, Miss Oluwatosin Adepoju. Thanks for joining us this evening. Thanks for being here with us. Okay, and of course, my director, wow, that's a big one. She's the one who takes charge of all those who are coming into the organization, and she's also the provost of our training institute. That's the only, every other person in the organization uses the title director. He's the only one who uses the title of a provost. How wonderful is that? It is my pleasure to recognize the presence of the director, the provost of the PGO Third, Senator Olu Messi. Thanks for joining us. Good evening. I do recognize at times she might not be able to join us because she's to speak. So without further ado, we're going to go into the conversation, and I'm just going to want you to, pick a topic. I've already mentioned different areas, and they're not exhaustive. So just pick an angle and let's discuss your angle. And so we go, and I'm going to allocate. I'm going to give each of you 5 minutes to have your opening statements. After each one, then we'll go maybe another 10 minutes to discuss that. And then we'll go to the next person, give them 5 minutes to have their own say, and then we discuss what they said 10 minutes, so 15 minutes per topic per person. So I'm going to start with the Secretary General. Over to you.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Convener. I want to sincerely appreciate and thank all of our in-house panelists who are taking it upon themselves in joining us this evening. Nigeria, like I said previously, sir, it's a complex and it's a very funny nation. Nigeria is a country where anything goes. And if you monitor the event of things in the last 1 or 2 months, everybody will agree with me that we have so many abnormalities happening in our nation. Over time, Nigeria is a country where people could no longer sleep with their 2 eyes closed. Nigeria is a place where we cannot send our wards to school and our mind is going to be at rest. Nigeria is a country where, like you said previously, if you keep your money in the financial industry, in the next couple of weeks, your balances will automatically reduced. Nigeria is a place where our security forces could mobilize nothing less than 70 armed men to Sunday Igboho's house to arrest him. But, unknown gunmen, bandits are everywhere in our society with nothing and no one is arresting them. Nigeria is a country where some governors will come together to say enough is enough. This is how they want to be governed. And some new set of people will get themselves in another part of the country to condemn the stance of the new set of people. now threatening them that because they've resolved and made a stand on certain issues on how they want their nation and their state to be governed, they will now be saying they are going to deny them the presidency. Maybe purposely because in one way or the other, they believe in the numerical strength, or at the same time, there are some demographic tendencies and benefit that is accrued to them, which has given them, a numerical strength in terms of a voting capacity to determine who govern the nation. So Nigeria is indeed a very funny place. It is where things are always going the wrong directions and people are taking their eyes off the right way. Nigeria is a place where people who is saying the truth to be seen as the enemy of the government, but people doing the wrong will be exonerated. Nigeria is a place where governors who have embezzled money on one political party will have to be threatened and cross-carpet to another political party to be exonerated, and they forget their sins. Nigeria is a place where an average civil servant knows the right thing, but despite the body language of Mr. President saying fight against corruption is one of his fundamental objectives, but nevertheless, the people in his cabinet and the people around him are still embedded in corruption, with several cases of corruption charges levied against them, and nobody is taking eyes, and they are taking their eyes off that. So Nigeria, like I said, sir, is a very complex place. And I'm happy we have our in-house panelists here this evening to discuss so many issues. We have issues of the very recent invasion of Sunday Igboho's house. We have the issue of the growing, enabling environment for bandits and, killing expense, the Fulani expense here and there. We have so many issues to discuss regarding the issue of our nation. Insecurity is on the increase. Somebody was recently murdered in Ibadan purposely because he challenged the camp men who parked in front of his shopping complex. And because of that, nothing is happening. Ibadan over time is known to be a very peaceful state. But here in Ibadan, in Oyo State as it is, anything goes, people can be maimed, people can be killed, and nobody will be brought to justice. The only thing we see in the second day in the dailies is the chief security officer of the state condoning with them, saying his heart goes out to the people who have been killed, his heart goes out to so many, people in Igogo were murdered in a broad night. They came in the night and murdered all of them. And I remember 2 months before that time, the governor emphatically said that he's going to station a security post just to safeguard the lives and property of people living in that location. See, now, nothing has been done. God forbid, if some set of people go to Igogo tomorrow to kill and to lay ambush for the people living in that society, nothing is going to be done. The chief security officer of the state will come on the dailies, will come on the television again to sympathize. Nigeria is a place where lives does not mean anything to our leaders. Nigeria is a place where sincerity is a top notch in the habit. There's no credibility. Our leaders do not value lives of the governed. Let me stop at this level. Let me allow other people to say their mind. But we have so many issues to discuss as regarding the state of our nation. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You've spoken with so much passion. It's like, when one can feel your anger through your voice, it's, and really, it's like they say in the tribe where I come from, they'll say it's a bastard that sees anger and does not get angry, So thank you so much, Mr. Segden. So let us discuss that. So you've heard him. One particular thing he said is, about the police and the military not having enough men to confront armed bandits. But then he said, allegedly, 70 of them went to Sunday Igboho's house. And he also did say that, he did make mention, he made allusion to the fact that the southern governors had gathered to say, well, basically they want the presidency. And then and then a group in the north came out to say, well, if they want that presidency, it's only on one condition, that the anti-open grazing bill must not be implemented. It's as if, we can withhold this from you, or we can give it to you if we so please. These are very provocative things. And for me, the annoying part of it is I'm not seeing people calling them to order out there, So this is open for discussion in the next 8 minutes before we call on the next person to introduce their topic. Anybody wants to have anything to say about this? Anybody? Okay. Kenya. Oh, okay. As Olu's iPhone. Olu, yeah. Please unmute yourself and come on. Yeah.
Yeah. Good evening, Tunde. Good evening.
Good evening. Oh, Prof. Good evening. It's you. How are you, Prof? Good evening.
How are you?
At least today you cannot accuse me of anything today because it's just
You.
it's free for all. So today you can't accuse me of
Not accuse you of anything anyway. So I was saying, that is an experience of a Nigerian who lives in Nigeria and who lives in the true Nigeria area. Like I'm saying, we are just, all of us are watching. And on the altar of argument, we are watching this country slipping by us. The issue of security is no longer it has even gone beyond the issue of a normal security breaches here and there. We are like moving on the principle of a war that is going on, and every day there's no day pass. If you look at the Nigerian dailies, you either see people being murdered in their farms, or people being murdered in their homes, or people being murdered on the road. So the question is, where is safe? Subsequent to my last participation in this, I narrowly escaped between Elisha and Ife. The scar is still on my car as I'm talking to you. I narrowly escaped the gangs of these herdsmen, because I'll call them herdsmen because they dress as one and they were holding. So I narrowly escaped with something that happened to me. This guy is still on my car.
Oh my God.
So for me, this is something that is going on around the country. Even the home I went to in Akure, I can see everybody, details of everyone. I mean, okay, we the intellectuals, we just sit in Lagos, in Abuja, in overseas in London or in the US, and we just put all this thing into just form an argument and believe that who wins the argument wins the day. For me, it has gone beyond argument too, because this thing is actually affecting our people. I could have easily become a victim about a few days when I was returning from Akure to Lagos. So it's just like that everywhere. So the question is not about whether it is happening or it is caused by these people or somebody is trying to profile Fulani. But if you see somebody who looks like a Fulani, who dresses like a Fulani, then for God's sake, who do you call them? They are just Fulani. And the question is that, why is it that Mayeti Allah, every day and they make things to stop this thing in the South? Why is it that Mayeti Allah rushed to the press to make a counter statement? And even the presidency also is in such a bit. We have the spokesman of the president make counter statement. But when we report people dying, people being murdered, being killed, they are just suddenly silent. You don't hear anything from Mayeti Allah. You don't hear anything from. Is when we want to take positive actions in the West or South generally to stop this kind of a mayhem going on in our land, that you will hear somebody raising another press release from the north, either from Kaduna or Abuja or Kano, saying that this cannot happen. This cannot happen. The country belongs to them. Must the country belongs to them to maim us? That is the question. Must the country belongs to them to drive us to the sea? Must the country belongs to them to kill us? So those are the questions that ruminates my mind. And another thing we need to say is that, are we supposed to now offer ourselves for them to just kill us and not do anything about this? What are we doing? I was reading an article yesterday. I posted the article on our platform. The article about what is going on and why the North is prepared and the South appeared unprepared. So why are we unprepared for this thing? Even one of them in the North, General T.Y. Danjuma, And I know he knows what is going on well. He has security report. He has access to some of the sensitive report going on around the country. He once said something that, look, if you guys refuse to take up arms against this insurgent, they will kill you one by one. So I'm waiting to be killed one by one in our house. There was a report I also read where they said that currently they are dealing with our rural areas, that very soon they are going to complete that mission and move to the city and be killing people from their house to house. Are we going to wait till that happens to us in our cities? So these are critical issues. And for me, on a platform like this, is at times very difficult to say a lot of things. But what I can just say is that let us all move together. Let us begin to create things that will put defenses on our homes, on our businesses, and on our cars as we move around the street. Even now, currently in Lagos, people don't know, although that may not be Fulani, it may just be bandits that have seen that the security system is already weakened. We've heard spate of robbery, even in the traffic. Now in Lagos, it has happened like 3 times in Lekki here, where we see armed bandits robbing in broad daylight in traffic. And nobody even, and the funnest part of it, nobody waits for one another to see what is happening. Everybody rushed from the scene and the victims are just left to their fate. So these are things we need to look at in this country. We need to look at ourselves, and we need to defend ourselves. We need to defend our home. We need to defend our home people. That is just my submission for now.
Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you. I know you speak with passion about this topic all the time. And despite all the disagreements we do have on these topics at times, I do know that you're a man who is after your own convictions, and your convictions are what stands you out are that mostly your convictions are on the basis of actual experiences. And I want us to, because I'm going to ask you about the experience. Now you're telling me about the second experience. The first one was on your farm, and also we're going to talk about it later when it's your turn to introduce a topic. So Sekjen, thank you so much for that. So let's go to the DSG. Kenny, introduce your topic. Introduce your topic, and say something about it, and then we'll discuss it as well. I think he's struggling with his network. I believe he's struggling. Oh, okay.
Good evening.
Oh, okay.
Good evening, sirs. Good evening, sirs.
We can hear you. Good evening. Go on.
Okay, thank you so much. It's nice to be here again this webinar session. My name is Kehinde Okunuga, and PLIDE always gives us an avenue to hear our views and to strengthen our resolve to changing the narrative in our country. One of the reasons that made some of us, decide to join this organization was because of the kind of personality like our dear Egbon, Mr. Owosheni, and my own very dear Egbon, very close, Mr. Shola Fayemi. They are kind of personalities that we know that whatever they decide to do, they always do well. But then, what is Nigeria? How do I describe this country? The other time when he was describing this country, he said this country is a country that appears not to be working, is a country that celebrates mediocrity, a country that celebrates, insecurity, a country that celebrates corruption. And inside of me, I was feeling a rage. I was feeling somehow within me, and truly, that is how people outside this country assess our country. That is the true picture of this country that we have not mistakenly, been born into. Because some of us who are citizens of this country, we are citizens of this country not by mistake. God has a reason for us. Some of us are gathered here but we have to understand our mission. We have to understand the reason we are here. There are Moses of this nation amongst us. There are Joshuas amongst us. And what I think some of us should be doing now is mobilizing. I want to see us mobilizing. I want to see us go beyond, the usual discussion, interacting, engaging one another, discussing about the situation of this country, lambasting or, saying all sorts of things about leadership of the country and even the followership of the country. Can we very seriously go to the street and start mobilizing people? Can we go to the street, even where we work? Can we be that change agent there? In our household, in our family, within our nuclear setting, can we be that change agent here? The husband cannot be a change agent. Cannot claim that he's a change agent when his wife or the children, do not believe that anything good can still come out of this Jerusalem. I continue to get bothered each time people call our country a hopeless nation. If our country is an hopeless nation, that means that whoever is a citizen of that country, whoever is living in that country does not have hope. And the meaning of that is that even the generation that is coming ahead, the upcoming and the forthcoming generation, the future generations also do not have hope. Very recently, the DSS went to raid the house of a Nigerian, Mr. Sunday Igboho. And for me, I had two very serious perspectives about it. Number one was that the DSS made a mistake to have gone after a citizen who had not killed, who had not formed any group against the sovereignty of the nation, of the country. But then, before then, I saw the same Sunday Igboho and his men. The other time they went to Osun State, during their Odua sovereignty protest demonstrations, and I saw his guys shooting into the air. Who gave them those guns? So if some of us are saying that the DSS may have planted those guns in the house of Sunday Igboho, are we saying that the Sunday Igboho that we know, cannot carry arms? Are we saying that the Sunday Igboho that we know was not aware that his men shot in Oshogbo when they were clamoring for Odua sovereignty? And there are many elements like that, even in our nation. Sunday Igboho is a celebrity today because of the rottenness of our society. A Sunday Igboho should not be celebrated in a sane society, in a society that encourages, decorum, a society that encourages good leadership, a society that encourages good things. A Sunday Igboho should not be a celebrity, should not be, his person, the personality should not be something that Nigerians will be celebrating. There is no American citizen that will celebrate somebody like that. Some of us in Nigeria will see Sunday Igboho because we live together. We are in the same country. But a foreign person will see him as a nuisance. And it will just sum it up, a nuisance, trying to rescue some nuisances. All of them are nuisance. So I think Nigeria should really go beyond this present stage. And some of us, PLIDE is a platform that we can start with. And we are going somewhere. But all of us, members of that platform also, we have to strengthen our belief in this organization. Beyond our every Sunday meeting. How strong is our belief? Belief is our trust, is our hope that PLIDE can actually rescue this nation from the present decadence. How are we moving with this train? It goes beyond, I was discussing with the Secretary General yesterday And I said, it pains me sometimes when some of our members come here and they just say, I only decided to join this webinar today because of the interesting topic I saw on the platform and the person who would speak. And I said, each time, I hear something like that, I'm not happy, because all of us on that platform should have the same resolve. We should have the same focus. Whether the topic is interesting or not, when we hear that PLIDE will be having a webinar, all of us must run to meeting it. All of us must be prepared to attending the meeting, because in one way or the other, there is no way, I don't know, maybe it is just me, but in one way or the other, anytime I attend, PLIDE webinar, I always have one or two things to gain from there. And that boils to the fact that on our platform, we have over 100 PLIDE members. Over 100 PLIDE members. And if you count how many people are here now, they are less than 20. So if PLIDE preaches change, how many people on PLIDE platform believes in the change that PLIDE preaches? How many people on that platform believe that this country can actually change with what we are doing? And then the solution starts from us. Changing our belief, changing our orientation, changing, going beyond just describing the country and raising or instituting, fundamental, practical solutions that will serve as antidote to the negative description that both foreigners and the locals, give to our country. The security is nothing to write home about. Education is nothing to write home about. But then we can survive all this by a positive resolve. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. DSG. Thank you so much. We can survive it. So your perspective on some of these things is that DSS is wrong to have invaded his house, and that because he hasn't killed, but the DSS can actually it can actually go on preventive policing, internal security policing, because they're the secret police. And the police does not actually have to wait for someone to commit a crime. If there's evidence that someone might be accessory or might be doing things involved in actions that are capable of undermining public peace and public confidence in law and order, they can. This is not me justifying the going after Igbo. I'm just explaining that. And of course, you did make mention that Igbo's people were shooting in Osun State and some other things. And these are some of the questions I have also asked, and we're going to throw it open to our discussants. One of our friends, one of our very big advocates of this, I said to them, one of the greatest issues, one of the things that still, every time I think of all this, I remember the incident in Ado Ekiti, southwest Nigeria, where, this same team had gone to do the Odua Nation rally. And I think it was it after or before the rally? I think it was after, and it went to the palace of the king of the town, whose title is the Ewi. And then they asked to see the Ewi, and the chiefs came out and said, well, the king isn't giving you audience. That's his decision. And the group had formed into a mob, because a crowd does become a mob by their actions. You can actually quickly define it. And they insisted that if they had to break down the gate, they would. And they started calling the king unprintable names. And before you could say Jack Robinson, they had started scaling the fence. They went in, and then they opened, they forced the gate open from inside. And then they invaded the palace. Admittedly, they didn't do any damage inside the palace. I'm just saying they invaded, and they sat down against the will and the wishes of, the custodian of the traditions of the people of that town. and they were issuing threats. All these are they're to be they're social, like they say, social media does not forgive. Whatever the things that we've done, somehow, I say to people, your children will watch it on they watch it eventually, because social media does not forgive. The things you say, the actions the things you do, social media does not forgive. Our world does not forget. Let's put it that way. Let's not say it does not forgive. So our DSG has raised a lot of points about the legality or otherwise of the quote and unquote invasion by the DSS, and also the actions of the Chief Sunday Igboho as well. So I don't know if we've taken quite a bit of time on that, and we're allocating 15 minutes per person to our topics of choice. We might have to cut down at some point. Prof, is it the hand you raised before, or are you raising your hand again? Olu, okay, so does anybody want to have anything to say about this? Okay. Is that the SecGen or the director of PGO Top? Because you're using the same the same icons, so I can't tell apart which of you is raising your hands. But whoever it is, just
Yeah, it's the SecGen, sir.
Okay, so fire on.
Yes, it's the SecGen. I want to sincerely appreciate Kenny's perspective on the state of the nation, and most especially the attitude of PLIDE members to what we preach. Like he said, we indeed need to change our belief, we need to change our conviction, we need to change our attitude, and we need to act what we preach. But at the same time, going back to Sunday Igboho's case, like he said, I totally agree with him. Sunday Igboho is a nuisance who shouldn't have been celebrated in a sane society. But considering the decadence of our nation, considering the lawlessness that has become the order of the day in our national polity, Sunday Igboho is now a celebrity. The question I kept asking people when they told me about the ammunitions, they got in Sunday Igboho's house, I said, in a place where over 70 armed forces went to lay ambush in his house, if indeed Sunday Igboho had, he has those ammunition in his house, and that the DSS claimed that there was a shootout and altercation for 1 hour, are those DSS officer angels that no one was killed? If indeed he has that ammunition in his house, how come nobody was killed, nobody was shot? And we got it from reliable sources that these guys had to force their way to his house. They alleged that there was a shootout between his men and they, and that was invariably reasons why one of his aides, popularly known as Adugo, was killed. If these people invariably at the same time had altercation with the security forces, out of over 50, 70 armed men, how come none was killed? Those are the bases that Sunday Igboho took into legal proceedings, telling them that those ammunitions were not from his houses, and saying at the same time too that his men, were molested, his properties were damaged. It is quite unfortunate that security, architecture, and apparatus have been downgraded to a situation where they saw cats, and cats were being killed, thinking that Sunday Igboho turned himself to cat. Sunday under normal circumstances to not be celebrated. But considering the level at which our people in the southwestern state are being ambushed by unknown gunmen, people are being...
Okay, I think we've lost him because of, I think internet connection.
Killed in The only thing we get from them is their hearts going out to the people. Their heart is always out, sympathizing when lives are lost. Where there is insanity, where there is lawlessness, invariably somebody like Sunday Igboho will become an hero. And that is what we are having in our society of today. There are so many issues. The body language of the president, the body language of our leaders is confirming, the tendency that they support the excesses by these Fulani men. Like Professor previously said, why is it that anytime our people revolt against them, anytime we come out with policies that is going to safeguard our region, that will safeguard our state, we always have counter reaction from the presidential spokesperson, we have counter reaction from Yeti Allah. Do this nation belong to one set of people? Do Nigeria belong to Miyetti Allah or the Fulanis or the Hausas? If indeed this is a sovereign nation, and people are saying the resources generated from different regions, our nation should be restructured so that people will know what belongs to them. And the Bible is not wrong when it says that when the righteous is the position of authority, the people rejoice. But when a wicked man ruleth, people mourn. We cannot shy away from that fact that Nigerians are mourning. We cannot shy away from that fact that people are crying. We cannot shy away from that fact that people can no longer live comfortably in our nation. We go to the market with 50,000 naira. You know, the inflation is on the high side, but there's no commercial. There are so many other issues. But for now,
Okay, thank you so much. I'm gonna go to Kenny Okunuga, and I'm gonna go to Prof first, and we're discussing Kenny
you are muted,
Okunuga's
sir.
topic.
You are muted, sir.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I always try to mute myself. Thank you so much. Thanks for that analysis. We're gonna go. Of course, this is Kenny Okunuga's topic we're discussing. I'll go to Prof first, and then I'm just gonna give each person just two minutes each, and then I'll come to Kenny. But you did make some point that Sunday Igbo had no arms in his house, but I have it on record. You know, one of
I never said that.
you actually said there's no way he could have had those arms, and that why was none of the DSS officers shot? Why none of them sustained had gunshot wounds? And there's a video. You know, one of the major things I found out about the secessionist movement in the southeast and the southwest is they have a lot of people talk. I think the social media has made it worse. People just like talking. People talk a lot. I think while Sunday Igbo was denying that he had no arms in his house, his own official spokesman said the pump action rifle actually belongs to him and is licensed to him. And then there was another woman who was threatening everybody on YouTube a few days, last week or thereabout, and did a video and said, yes, Adogon had Ado. And in fact, I think even the movement itself, led by Chibanji Akito, they released a statement to even credit, to even, to praise the man who was supposed to have withstood 39 bullets and did not fall. They said 39 bullets or 38 were fired at him, the Adogon guy, and that he kept firing back. What was he firing? Water gun? Or was he firing a police baton? Or did he use the shower in the bathroom to be firing them? I believe this is not me taking sides on this, but I believe that whilst we look at there's a sane society, we should not allow two wrongs to make a right. We should call the wrongs. For me, I believe we should always call the wrongs on both sides. So one of the greatest problems, and I repeat, just in case those who are calling for this nationalist thing are watching, PLIDE does not support the breakaway of any part of Nigeria. We believe the current the Nigerian state as currently as it currently exists, like Prof actually analyzed quite a lot of things that are wrong. And my sergeant just said now, we believe that it's got to be restructured. It cannot work in its current state. And everybody does agree. Every reasonable person does agree. But having said that, the secessionist movement, you have a lot of people who talk too much. In fact, we read that the woman that led the invasion of the house was calling each person by name. Because you have a movement that just talks too much. That talks about all his strategies. It's all you need to do is just sit on YouTube for like 2 hours. You will know where he is, you know where he's visiting, you know who is with him, you know the names of all of them, you know the plans. He will be saying, in fact, all the governors, there was one I was watching and it was all the governors, they are just afraid. They've told me they are supporting us. The kings as well, they all need, they are laughing, they've told us that those people, a lot of them do not even want those information in the public. And he said the only person that does not mind them going public is Akeredolu. And also, the movement talks too much. So when we're saying there are no guns, No guns were found in his house, and his own his own spokesman said the pump action rifle it actually belonged to him, and that he had a license for it. And then another person said the Adogon person, the organization, the Banjagide-led organization came out with a statement saying what the Adogon man fought like a warrior. What was he fighting with? He fought like a war. He fought back. That it took about 38 or 39 bullets to eventually fell him. You know, so it's just for us to put things in perspective. You know, so that we need to have a balance on this. So, Prof, let's come to you, and then we'll go to Kenny, and then we'll take another point. Prof, over to you. I think he's having problems on muting himself. Olu, I think he's having problems.
Hello, I'm with you. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. So my reaction to the last speaker is that, number one, he has spoken about especially the issue of Sunday Igboho and no Sunday Igboho and the security and what the state security people did in Sunday Igboho house. Of course, none of us was actually in Sunday Igboho house, and none of us can specifically speak that this was actually the guns that were taken away from Sunday Igboho house was taken out of that place. None of us can say that it was found there or it was not found there. But of this, we're sure. There is certain due process of law. When I was reading the case of Chief Obafemi Awolowo versus Federal Minister of Internal Affairs in the treasonable felony trial, Chief Awolowo house was charged for 21 times at different times by that government, but always coming with a search warrant, always coming, fulfilling the procedure of the law. Sunday could have been informed in writing, that, or even publicly in writing, by advertising it that, look, we're coming to search your house. All they have done is very simple, which is to surround the place. According to the report, they have been there for a week. You make sure that you do stop and search at all the junction entering the house, as a prelude to actually gaining entrance formally into that place.
Just to throw in, sorry, I'm not interrupting you, and to also stop and search all the cats and maybe arrest all the cats in the process as well. So just go on.
We are not talking about cats. Yeah, this is laughing over the issue by arresting cats. But I'm just saying what is the process, what formal process of search. You go to court, you take a search warrant. Sunday Igboho was not just made yesterday. Sunday Igboho has been a man of security interest for a long time. You can remember his role in Modakeke and Ife War. You can remember his role
in the governorship elections, Uncle.
On those governorship elections, in even several fora, the fight of Shifla Doja in Oyo State, and he has always been part of those crises. So he has been a man of security interest for a long time, even before the issue of the Fulani came to the front burner. So such a person, the security network will not say that they don't know that Sunday Igboho carry arms. They won't say that they don't know that officially some police were also assigned to Sunday Igboho, because I've seen him before with police escort.
Who were withdrawn? Let's state that very, very publicly. They were publicly withdrawn. It was in the media ages ago. So let's balance things out. Yeah.
What I'm saying, I didn't know the time it was withdrawn.
It was withdrawn, so that's in the public domain. And you know that there's no way they will give him security escort with all that is going. It's just like giving him Kanu.
He has security he had security people assigned to him at a point.
That was maybe that. We'll state it again because we're dealing with the public, and the public need to have facts from PLIDE, you know. So
yeah, that is fact. That is fact. That at a point.
Yes,
I'm not saying.
But as at the point when his house home was invaded, he no longer had those police escorts. So those guns could not have been those of his police escorts. So.
Sure. So at a point, he has been moving around the country, doing rallies and all these things and all that. So they had all the time to take a search warrant. They had all the time to do stop and search. They had all the time to do anything they want to do with him, but they did not. The question is, why was it done now? And why the haste to do it now? So these are the critical questions we need to ask ourselves. Then the people that are come out to say that, oh, it was the license certain gun for him and all that. Good. If it is licensed to him, where are those licenses? So you cannot just say verbally that, oh, he had the license gun. And for me, even at this time, are we still talking about the legality of even holding arm against a state that has turned to his own citizen with arms? There are a lot of fundamental jurisprudential questions that we now need to ask ourselves. Okay, some of those guys that are guiding their own homes with guns, even unlicensed guns, are DSS going after them? Why are DSS not going after those people? Or they are not aware?
Just round up quickly so we can take Kenny and stay with that. When you introduce your topic, your own topic, you can expatiate on this.
I'll close it there. I'll stop it there.
Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you. And Prof, thank you so much for introducing those legal angles. Those were valid, like the Said Jen rightly observed. Those are very, very valid questions, valid points that you raised there. They probably would have known his movement. And I'll go back to what I said earlier about the movement has been the secessionist movement on both sides of the of the Nigeria, you know, they very loquacious, they talk too much, and so whether it's Nnamdi Kanu and his movement, or you know, everybody knew what they were planning, their actions, everything, and also it would have been very, very easy to also have people even living in those houses very close to them who were working for the security services. Prof will come back to you. You can. Prof will come back to you.
Some news movement from the North Central and even from the far north. We have movement that want Nigeria to see. Boko Haram is a secessionist movement. But let's go on.
Boko Haram is not a secessionist movement. They've never accepted.
Somebody that has planted flag.
I've always said no.
Somebody that has planted flag.
No,
somebody that has planted flag and declare a territory.
No, Boko.
What is it not dividing the country?
Boko Haram, hold on. Boko Haram are not looking to It's just like they're not looking to split Nigeria. Hold on. Boko Haram are looking to take over Nigeria and impose their own ideology to rule over Nigeria as it currently exists. They're not looking to split it. So it's just very, very, it's very important that we make that difference.
Nigeria, they are already even doing government function in some territory in Nigeria.
Yeah, because that's the territory they've taken over. That's the territory they've taken. It's just like, okay, look, someone says, okay, we'll come back to that. No, secession is Prof. You're a lawyer, but at the same time, secession is an English word and it's very, very simply defined. It's a very, very simple definition. Secession is, you know, the pulling out, in layman's words, the pulling out of a component part of a larger organization, you know, the active pulling out, and they've targeted, it's like targeting just that small parts, nothing else, and pulling out. Boko Haram actually want to take over the whole of Nigeria and plan. So that does not fall into the category of secession, strictly within the English definition of secession. Kenny Okunuga, let's just have your quick take and then we'll take another topic.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof, the convener and the Secretary General. The points we have all raised are very valid. But again, I like to draw us back to two pieces of information. Number one, there was a particular time Senator Juju publicly said that during the, I think it was the 2014 election, or 2014 or 2010, either of the two, that Sunday Igboho and his men, were mobilized to Ekiti by a particular party. And when they got the information that he and his guys were in Ekiti, they demobilized him out of Ekiti. There is this guy also in Lagos. I think it is Musiliu, this that his children are in UK. I've forgotten his name. Oluomo. Yeah. He was also in Kogi. Whatever you will see in the house of Sunday Igboho, you will see in the house of Oluomo. And that is the truth. You see, Sunday Igboho now has become a target because he has crossed the red lines of the government. People he had been working for.
And now
he had been working for them before. So we cannot exonerate Sunday Igboho, on some of these cases just because he's fighting against the brutal Fulani herdsmen. The truth is, I think in some quarters of this country, they have agreed now that we just have to continue to use crime, to cure crimes. That we can only continue, or that we can only resolve to use wrongs to right wrongs. And that will not be good for the future of this country. That is not why we are here. Why we are here is to see, that. So I'm sorry. Why we are here is to see that there are some things that we can do to rescue this country. Now, Mr. Shola Fayemi said that Sunday Igboho had guns, that if he had guns, that he would have, shot those DSS personality. But I tell you that Sunday Igboho is only wise. If he had shot those guys, it would have been a fight against the state. And there is nothing he has that he can use to defeat the state. If he's not caught now, the case will be filed and he'll be taken tomorrow. So the best he could have done was what he did. That is, if he was around. And again, a quarter has also said that the DSS did not inform him. Sunday Igboho is not Mr. Tunde Owosheni. Sunday Igboho is not Shola Fayemi. It's not Professor Olu that should be informed, or that need to be informed by the DSS whenever they intend, to search their house or their houses. If Sunday Igboho saw these people around him, and there was no way, it is not security wise to inform him ahead, would he have put the guns at his gates? Would he have
allegedly, like Prof said, we don't have proof. We all
know this guys, but yes, let's just continue to use English. Allegedly, sir, allegedly. But I know that if Sunday Igboho had been informed, he would have kept all these things. All these things are English, but we know the personality that is involved. It is not me. If the DSS went to the house of Chief Obafemi Awolowo many times, and they did not see anything. It was because Obafemi Awolowo was not a thug. He was not a rascal. He was not a criminal. If he was, they would have found one or two things in his house. Let DSS come to my house 100 times. They will not see any knife.
No knife. They will not see a knife. So you don't.
They will not. Yes.
Even your onions. Why you put your onions?
Only my wife uses knife. I don't use knife.
Okay. And even though there's no way of proving that knife does not belong to you and belongs to your wife. But thank you so much, Kenny. I take your point. We'll come back to you at some point. You still have more opportunities to. I'm just trying to balance this, and that's why I had to quickly chip in there, allegedly, because like Prof said, none of us was there. We do not have those pieces of evidence. What we have evidence about are the things that they've also said themselves. They've said things like they took their passports, their names are on those passports anyway. They said the DSS took money from them. We have evidence of those. They said DSS took their phones. We have those pieces of evidence as well. So those are the things that are in the public domain that we can say. And at the risk of sounding like a broken record, I'll repeat again, quite a lot of these things, even the movement talks too much. And for example, I was citing this to our trainees during the week. There was a man who said he's the head of the Ogbonis, and that he was coming from a meeting which he usually would have held every first weekend of the month. And he was on his way to Ikorodu. Then someone rang him to say his money was ready to be picked up near Ojota Ikeja zone. And then they stopped him around 7 up and arrested him, that he had nothing to do with the crowd. And yet there was a video there, which is still live on social media, where he had the crown, he had the white robe, he had a staff, and he was addressing the crowd. So the movement on both sides, they actually talk too much. They talk too much. So I will always advise those who put their reputations on the line to defend quite a lot of these things. At times, when you're saying these things on social media, a lot of the things that you're defending, be sure of them, because even the side you're defending, some of them are already saying, yes, they caught the gun. Yes, so what? And so we need to let's balance it out on all sides. I'm going to go to Director Oladaya.
I can't hear the convener. Can anyone do that?
Oh my God, I muted myself and I've been talking since. I sincerely apologize. Usually I think I'll just have to stop muting. So sorry. Oh my God. And I've been speaking for quite a while. Apologies. But basically, I'm just saying that we need to balance all these things.
No, we can hear to the point of this Ogboni.
Yeah. So the man was,
we can hear.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's just move on. So your line is bad, Mr. Sergeant. So he was one of those arrested and paraded by the Lagos State Police Command. And there he was. He said, well, he was never there. And of course, we have the videos, so it's just to buttress what I said about the other side. I said that
the case of Ogboni.
Yes, so thank you so much, Mr. Sergeant. So the whole idea was just to emphasize that the secessionist movement themselves, the two sides, the so-called freedom fighters, they talk too much, the two sides, so they put so much information in the public domain in advance. It enables when you have, it is said that the mark of a good general is the ability to spring surprises. But with the Biafra movement, with the Odua Nation movement, there's so much put in the public domain. There are hardly any tactical secrets. If there are, maybe they're just very little, movement, everything there in the public domain. Someone might say it's all in the spirit of openness, but I'll say no, because you have diverse people, different people, always running to do a TikTok video, an Instagram video, a YouTube video, just to lambast and to proclaim, So, and that's why it becomes difficult. And that's why I'm saying that let's ensure there's a balance. It is my pleasure to welcome Dr. Chidi, but I will introduce him a bit more because we will be throwing questions, because we want his perspective, especially on the issue of extrajudicial rendition and the invasion, quote and unquote, of Sunday Igboho's house, and the UGM stroke ESN link, and and also, of course, the fact of the so-called British citizenship of Kanu and all this legality under international law. We'll bring Doug out, then I'll introduce our older brother at that point. Sir, I'm so happy that you've joined us. So let's go, Oladaya Falabi, let's just quickly have your topic. Because Dr. Odinkalu is there, I'll actually only give you like three minutes each to, just bring your topic. Then if anybody wants to respond to them.
Convener, you're muted, sir.
I don't know what keeps muting me. Maybe I'm moving the mouse or something. I don't know why because it wasn't me muting myself. But Dr. Odinkalu is with us, so because of that, we'll be are limiting everybody to just about 2.5 minutes or thereabout, because we want him to be able to answer questions on the extraordinary rendition, the quote and unquote invasion of Sunday Igboho's house, and quite a lot of all these other aspects. So, but Director Oladayo Falabi, let's just quickly have your own topic, and then we'll take Prof's topic. I don't know if Shehu and so we'll just take three minutes each, because we need to Dr. ODINKALU quite a bit of time so that we can ask him questions and also. So, Director Oladayo, quickly, 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, thank you very much, the convener. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's call. Today has been an emotional day for us, given the fact that we lost one of us, an ex-student of my secondary school. Many of you call him South Sultan. That's Senior Larewaju Abdugani Fasasi. And today we were told that we lost him to cancer, a rare kind of cancer, which sometimes is actually aggressive, an aggressive kind of cancer, the angioimmunoblastic T-cell lymphoma. And so it brings me down to life expectancy in Nigeria. I know he passed away outside the shores of Nigeria, and death is inevitable, irrespective of the quality of care that you receive anywhere you are. The rich die and the poor also die. But you know, the thing is, what is available to people? Life expectancy, average life expectancy for the world is 72 years. For Nigeria, it's marked at about 55. That almost 17 years difference in between. And that is definitely, we all know what 17 years is. And all of these things, these statistics are tied down to certain factors, including the insecurity we are talking about, the poverty, and all these other things. Why am I bringing this topic up? Larry passed on as a result of cancer, and coming down to Nigeria, looking at the accessibility of people to cancer care, it's actually disheartening. You find out that the government of the day has earmarked about 30,000 naira as minimum wage, even though the 30,000 naira as minimum wage, even some states that even have the capacity to are yet to implement it. So if you have like 30 days in a month, it means you are limiting certain people to like 1,000 naira per day, out of which they are expected to feed themselves, they are expected to clothe themselves, and provide for their family as well. So definitely, for them to meet up, it's either certain things will have to suffer for them to meet up with life. So meaning they may not have access to quality food, they may not have access to quality standard of living, and invariably they may have a poor lifespan.
Just now, like, I'll give you just 20 seconds more, or 30 seconds, just round up.
All right. So the question is, these people, if they were to come down with such ailments in an environment where an average treatment is between 750 to 1.5 million, how do they cope with such? And so it is a cause for concern, the poor quality of life that we have in the country. And I can only wish that a time will come where these things will be looked into and everyone would have access to quality healthcare, irrespective of your status. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Director Oladayo. Thank you so much. That's your area, so and that's what you also do for this organization as well. So I'm not surprised at all that is very, very key. Does anybody have anything to say about that before I go to Prof to introduce his own topic? Does anybody have anything to say about that? It is a fact what you've said. You know, life expectancy in our nation, Nigeria, is really, really scary. If you find out that not even just sickness, there's sicknesses that really do not kill anymore in advanced countries, in the advanced world, but even in so-called same league nations. And yet they still kill in Nigeria. You know, some of these diseases that are really, really, and of course with cancer in Nigeria, I've had examples of people that the hospitals will just keep telling them, they will just keep giving them different diagnoses, and then even when their cases are worsening, they just assure them they can treat it just because of the money. And I did say to someone, I said there was no day I was taken to hospital by my parents, or when I came of age went by myself in Nigeria, that I was not diagnosed of either typhoid, malaria, typhoid. They would always, and you just know that the Nigerian system is set up in such a way that the medical system, not all of them, quite a lot of them, they just want to extort you. So they would always, you know, whereas in a normal human being, some of these parasites, so long as they're in very tiny quantities, they're not really dangerous to life, you know. So, but you know, that's an issue for. We're going to go into more detail with it, and I know Dr. ODINKALU handles quite a lot of these things in his current role, and you know, so we'll discuss that. Prof, can you introduce your topic? 3 minutes as well.
Yeah. Good evening. What I just want to talk about is the pervading insecurity. And I've been talking about this. And the perspective in which I want to look at it is the attempt by many of our intellectuals to politicize the issue of security. When you talk about issue of security, they will say, please don't profile it, don't profile an ethnic, don't do this, don't do that. But the question I wish to ask, those who are direct victims of this security, of this killing and kidnapping, are you saying that they don't know who the assailant or who they are or who they are torturers were in this context? Don't forget that in this country, a former presidential candidate and a former finance minister and a former secretary to the federal government, Chief Olufalaye, was abducted in his farm. In fact, that place is in my own local government, Akure North, in Ondo State. He was abducted from his farm. His farm produce was set on fire, and he was taken away. So you want to tell me that Chief Olufalaye, who had opportunity to work with the federal government, I know he must have interacted with many of the tribes of this country, and he has campaigned around this country seeking votes. We don't know who a Fulani is from an Hausa, or from a Kanuri, or from an Igbiraman, or from a Jukun, or from a Nupe person that kidnapped him and spoke to him in their diverse languages, and he will not be able to say, okay, this is the kind of person who has dealt with him. Myself, I am saying this for empathy. I was on a visit to a parcel of land I acquired opposite the Nigerian Police Secondary School on Akure Ado Road. I was there. I saw the camp. So it's not something that people come to tell me or I read the newspaper. It's my own land that I took surveyor to come and look at, to survey it for me, about 22 plots. I got there, I met a camp on my land by the Fulanis. They come with their dresses, they come with their bags, they come not as somebody moving out or just passing by that environment. They came, what I saw on ground is with the view of a settler. If I had come there if I've been there alone that day, I would have possibly run away. But I came with people. I mean, I have a lot of the surveyors, I myself too, I'm also involved and engaged in politics of Accra. So some of my supporters left the house with me to go to that place. So, but I was visibly taken by what I saw in that place that day. I saw these people, they came there to settle, they've done their tent, and they are under the tent. They also have some of their brothers with cow at a far distance from that place. That place can be visited. So, took me to report to the Itagbulu community where that land is, to talk to them before the security committee now organized and try to remove them from that place. It took a fight to remove them from that place. So what am I saying in essence? The attempt to politicize, the attempt to shove it aside as if it does not matter, as if some people are crying foul for nothing. For me, I don't want it to meet all of us in a place we could not do anything anymore other than to submit as a victim, just like many people have gone that part. Secondly, recently, I think the last session that I participated with on this platform, I was doing it in a car. I was traveling to Akure. So, but on my return journey to Lagos, I did not find it funny. This is not at night too. In the evening, I was coming from Akure. I'd passed Elisha on my way to Ile-Ife. Most of us, we know that road very well. I saw these guys, they were just coming out of the bush. They even used one of the sword to mark on my vehicle. The mark is still on my vehicle now. I've not even repaired it. So if I had not moved very fast and run as far as my car can take me, I would have become a victim that day. I don't know whoever had become victim that day. So, but all I know, and one thing that really affected me was that after about 10 kilometers to that spot, almost at Ile-Ife, that Oduduwa University Junction, I saw a checkpoint. I met police and I parked and I related what I've seen. You know, they are not moved and they are not even prepared to go and check. So, and we live in this country like that. And my third experience was a friend of mine. I was celebrating the home exit of my grandma, and they all came from all over to join me. That was around May 2019. On their return journey back home, one of them was kidnapped in Okene, that stretch of land between Okene and Obajana. That was why the guy was kidnapped. He told me that on that road, they met 2 checkpoints. After they have been kidnapped, they are in the vehicle going. They were taken in the vehicle this time, these kidnappers. But they met checkpoints on the way. Nobody checked them. And they met military checkpoints on that road, and no one checked them. Of course, they were under threat that if you raise the alarm, you'll be killed. And that's how they took him away. We were able to get him out of that thing like about a week later, when we were able to negotiate because they were demanding initially for 30 million. We were able to negotiate. They eventually accepted 1 million and they released him. I physically contributed. In fact, people that knows the story, people that are on this platform that have been to Unity Secondary School, Ikere, the guy finished from Unity Secondary School, Ikere.
Prof, just about 30 seconds more, round off. Yeah.
So I'm just trying to particularize it so that some of the guys on this platform who also finished from that school also make contribution to that 1 million naira, to my knowledge. So what am I saying in essence? We have been surrounded, we have been engulfed in the south. Yes, I know there are a lot of security breaches in the north, but this issue is about talk about your home first and protect yourself first before you talk about another person. In this country, it has become them against us and God for everybody. So my conclusion tonight is that going forward, we need PLIDE perhaps need to include security education. Maybe we need to bring some of these security experts to also talk about some of these security breaches and what our people can do to save themselves while on the road, while in their home, or while in their workplace. It has come to that because it is a life that is, it is someone that is alive that can actually enjoy the benefit of a better country.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I just want to say congratulations to you. It was the same thing. Our SecGen almost got kidnapped between Lagos State and Shagamu, or between Oyo State, between Ibadan and Shagamu, a few months back as well. So may God continue to protect you. Thanks for sharing. You've shared that first experience with me before, and I know it is a fact. And I thank God that you didn't go alone to that farm as well. So it is a fact that yes, we have a problem with the herdsmen. Dr. ODINKALU, I think, is having connection issues. That's what I suspect, though. It's dropped off. I'm hoping, and that's why I eventually had kept the time for Ola Director Dayo short. But I gave you a bit more time because I noticed that Dr. ODINKALU has his line has gone off. So I'm expecting him to join us back. But we're not going to stay here beyond. In fact, hopefully 5 minutes to 8 we should have signed off. So I believe that two more people who haven't introduced, who have not, we've not given the chance to talk about their own, to introduce their topics. We'll still go back to everybody. If Dr. ODINKALU does not come in, don't worry. Next week we're having him as a main speaker. And I take that on board, Prof. That bit about getting security experts to come up so that we can, to tell people about, how to take a bit more precaution, how to ensure their own safety, because we always say virtually everybody is a local government in Nigeria, and because you generate your own electricity, you generate your own, you provide your own water, your own security, you even tie your roads quite a lot of times, so. But let's go. So we will take that on board, Prof. We'll be looking to introduce her in the next few weeks. Now let's go to Deputy Provost Sheung Olabinto. Hello, Sheung. Okay, we'll probably have to. We really need to move on very fast, and then I don't know if Senator Messi, the provost, are you in a place where you can? I know usually at this time she's unable to. She joins the meeting, but she can't. If you can you unmute? I suspect she can't. Okay, so Oluwatosin Adepoju, can we have your own topic? Okay, I think it's probably the same thing, and we have a lot to talk about, and if we're not getting if they're having technical issues, then we need to move on really really fast, because there were quite a lot of issues that now the issues are being introduced on the health along the lines of the health sector, and this is one of the issues that I want us to. How does a Nigerian, like Director Oladayo said, who is on 30,000 naira minimum wage per month, divided into effectively 1,000 naira per day, and someone who also has to go via public transport to work, or even if they're providing staff buses, do they provide staff food, and all things, So let's even say they provide staff buses and staff meals, 1,000 naira per day with a family, with everything, accommodation, bills, feeding, these are core issues. And I am not aware that it is possible to go to a bank and say, you know what, I need a loan from you to go and spend on this so and so illness in the hospital, God forbid. I'm not aware that any bank will give you a loan. Is that not certain death? What can be done? We talked, Nigeria, we've been having deductions from NHIS, National Health and Insurance Service. We've had that for ages, and deductions have been made again and again from people's wages. What is government doing with it? First of all, let me take a perspective. I'm going to take the legal perspective from a prof, because he might know something along the lines of the enabling framework for this. But let me go to a second first, who's a banker, and try to, what in terms of the the economics of these, the economics of the health of the nation. If you understand where I'm coming from, what can we do? What is being done, and what can we do to ensure that every Nigerian is covered, and that access to basic healthcare is actually the responsibility of government. And even where it's not the responsibility of government, at least the enabling environment is there. Let's start with you, Sek.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Komomena, once again. Like you said, our nation is a complex state that is facing a multifaceted issue. And one of those critical issues is the health sector. Because like Prof also said, that is someone who is alive, is someone with LD, that we definitely which says health is wealth. So the health of an average Nigerian must be the primary, also one of the key and primary concerns of our governance and our government and our leadership. But as it is, like I said previously, Nigeria is a place where anything goes. You also stated we have NHIS, where people contributed, where on a monthly basis they have deduction from citizen salary, particularly the civil servants, on how to meet their emergencies or probably any health issues that they have. But in most cases, even people are not aware. And people who are also aware, when they go to different hospitals for health issues or for medical attentions, they would rather give them paracetamol. They will tell them there's a limit to the services they can enjoy. They will tell them there's a limit to what they can benefit. All these things are issues. And we have a minister for health who, under normal circumstances, is to see how services are being dispensed to an average Nigeria. We need to drill down. Gone are those days where somebody will just sit in the comfort of his or her offices in Abuja and think everything is well with Nigeria. We need to have an appropriate feedback. And in Nigeria, an average civil servant understand that when he or she speaks, it's either that person is being transferred to a remote location, having some difficulty at the place of work, or the person is going to be the bad book officer or director. So people no longer speak their mind. Nigerians are dying in silence. When things are not working, nobody is ready to talk. And where people talk, they will see them as an enemy of the government. They will see them as working against the prosperity of that institution. And that is why we are where we are. Our health sector in actual sense, is failing, and an health sector is not working. We've had scenario. There was a time I cited the case of somebody that was shot by all of these armed men on his way from Ibadan to Lagos. This person was rushed to UCH in Ibadan. This victim was in that position for several hours without being attended to. Time in 2015 or 2016, the national. Now, anytime the victim of gunshot are taken to any hospitals in Nigeria, they must first be attended to, even without a deposit of a dime, or reverse is the case in Nigeria. I still want to be corrected. Hospitals where victims of gunshot will be taken to, and they will give them an accelerated treatment. It is still not working. Yeah, policies are being made, people not following the due process. And many of us in the financial sector are beginning to look at these lapses on the part of the health sector or the part of the health professionals. And that is why some of these banks are coming up with insurance policies where citizens will just pay a token, and paying that token for a period of 1 year, you'll be enrolled, on an health insurance scheme where you go to any preferred hospitals of your choice and you'll be attended to. So many of them are beginning to see that where seeing things are not working, it is better for people to take their destinies in their hands. And that is what an average Nigerian is doing. Like you said, sir, people provide their lights themselves. They make sure that their roads are motorable. They provide security for themselves in their houses. Even so many people in the society contributing in making sure that these roads are motorable. And invariably, we see local government officials, we see representatives of the state or in the national bodies blind the same road. But things are not working. Our health sector is in comatose. But we have good professionals who are expected to be assets to this nation, but many of them also believe in brain drain. They go to Senate climb where their effort can be well appreciated. You will see, unfortunately, people will be paying 5,000 naira at aside. So many issues. But let me rest at this level, sir. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much for all those angles that you introduced, Mr. Sekjen. That's I really, really appreciate that. That was really, really deep, especially those things you said about. In fact, I just appreciate that, and things like this just bring a tear to your eye, and you just wonder, when are we eventually going to get it right? Thank you, Mr. Sekjen, for that perspective. Prof, let's have your take on this.
Yeah, on the issue of the health, I think we have every government, not just this current government, every government has paid very little or lip service to the issue of the Nigerian health. And when the easiest way to see this is that from the legal point of view, from the legal provision point of view, we have not had any robust law on our health in this country. Even the little things we have are just the law setting up various tertiary health institutions up. We don't have, and it's as if the government just think that, since issue of health is not in the exclusive list, there is no duty for me there. Even in the EU health, where we've tried to copy, when you look at the issue of health, it's despite the fact that it's not a national issue, the operators are private states here and there. But the government has generated policy and laws that will guide these state operators and private operators in a way that you have the Affordable Care Act that was done during the Obama, which has been further amended and which is even undergoing discussion for further amendment to strengthen it for further coverage under this Biden's presidency. But what have we in Nigeria? The only time I've even heard about a Nigerian health becoming a campaign issue was what I read in the manifesto of what's it called, of Chief Obafemi Awolowo in 1983. That was the last time I have seen a robust policy. Somebody did something similar recently, but of course he did not win the election. Jimmy Agbaji in Lagos State did similar campaign promise in respect of healthcare of the citizens of Lagos State. But of course, he did not win that election and couldn't put it into effect. So, but what have we, the people that have been winning elections, the PDP, the APC, is so sorry that when we even talk of governance, the issue that we are grappling with are the fundamental issues of corruption, the fundamental issues of security. The issue of health is not just there in the corner. But what we have on ground, and that is why I love to talk with reality. What we have on ground is that our health institution that used to be a veritable source of health tourism in the 60s. I have read it in some record where the King Fahd of Saudi Arabia was being treated in the UCH here in Ibadan.
Wow.
But today, do we have that kind of health institution anymore? Then what are we doing to revamp the health sector? All the things we have been doing are merely annual budgetary allocation that are just merely tokenistic, that are just the vision of the manuscript vision of each health director in health institution. We need a national policy. We need a national health on health care for Nigerian citizens. And these are one of the reasons why people keep talking about this country, that look, we are not represented in this country. We have been left behind in this country. Most of us have been left behind. You must be able. There was a time we are losing a lot of lawyers in Lagos branch. Lagos branch had to be proactive and now
when you say Lagos branch, you mean MBA, just for the
MBA, yes,
because Nigerian Bar Association.
Yeah. Yes, we had to now put this health insurance and make it optional for lawyers to take health insurance under the MBA program annually, so that when lawyer is sick and couldn't afford it, there's a way he can afford it. And if, God forbid, he die, then his family and the survivors can have something to have, instead of just losing everything. So these are things that our government needs to sit down and actually bring about a robust law. How unique, the living proof of the failure of our government is a visit to our tertiary, even the basic health institution. Just visit there. You see, is it where people are treated? Is it where people are treated? I was so excited recently when these guys came. What's it called? The Evercare in Lekki here. They just started it. Is a very big and bold initiative by the private sector. About 165 bedded hospital. Very big and a bold initiative. I was even thinking that it was so costly to go there as a patient. So when I was sick sometimes ago, I had to go there, and the bill was so was patient friendly to say. And I had to ask the doctor, are you making money? You're asking me to do tests. I'm doing some tests here, 1,500. I'm doing some tests here, 12,000 naira. In this kind of modern hospital, how are you making your money? He said their whole marketing strategy is mass oriented, like the government hospital.
Thank you so much, Prof. I will have to just round off. Thank you so much.
Have this information, and I'm trying to put this information in the domain of the, so that some of us can also approach that kind of hospital when we have medical needs for doing so. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much for that information. Please, if you don't mind, just also put it on the different fora so people can basically benefit from that as well. Because I have people saying to me that, they told them go and get the amount they charge for tests, even in mushroom hospitals, mushroom clinics. They go into, the tens of the thousands, talk less of somewhere in Lekki, 2,000, 1,000 for tests. Please, can you please put the information in the public domain so our members can also benefit from it. Thank you so much for your contributions tonight, Prof. I'm just going to give, I believe the DSG would give him 2 minutes, Olada 2 minutes to, and then we'll round off. DSG, over to you. I believe Oluwaseun and Adepoju were finding it difficult to get them to come on to speak. Kenny Okunuga, are you there? Okay, very quickly we'll go to Director Afolabi. Please go on. Let's just have your taking 2-3 minutes, and then we round off. Oh, I think he's gone in and out. You can unmute.
Thank you very much, the convener. So it just boils down to what we've been saying, a call for action. And by the grace of God, I'm looking forward to a time where we will be able to use our influence or circle of influence to change the narrative. I am one of those people that believe so much in the potentials of Nigeria. I'm one of the people that believe that these potentials can be harnessed. And then I'm also one of those people that believe that it will definitely be utilized too for the benefit of all. We are going through a difficult time at the moment, but I believe there is this ray of hope, and that there is light at the end of the tunnel. God is going to help us. All of these challenges, they are all man-made. They are more man-made and man-instituted, and they can also be changed. It takes men of goodwill to also change them. And that is why we are part of this move. A lot of people are already getting weary, tired, and discouraged because the question is, how will the change come? Where is it going to come from? Because even the political span for those who are supposed to bring about the change is so short-lived that everybody comes in. The first 6 months, you use it to settle in. The next probably 2.5 years, you use that to do a little, and then the remaining parts, you either use it to consolidate your stay or you lose it to prepare your exit. And and the cycle just continues. So you have a situation whereby people get elected into political offices and they can't do much, either because they feel they are not the ones that will benefit from whatever it is that they do. You understand what I'm trying to say? The credit will go to another government because government, a different party comes in, doesn't acknowledge what the previous government has done. It takes all the credit and all that. So you have that kind of, that's the kind of political landscape we find ourselves now. So people you want to do something that will bring the money in the interim, or you just leave it to go like that and probably sit and wait for when Abuja will call you to come and collect your share and all that. And that is why this whole thing is the way it is. But let us keep hope alive and let us continue to trust God that the narrative will change, that God will empower this platform. It will empower each and every one of us. It would also touch these people too, because He has the capacity to. And we also fulfill our own civic responsibilities by doing what we have to do as citizens.
Thank you so much.
So that the country can be a better place for all of us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Director Afolabi. Thanks. I really, really love the passion. I want to thank everybody tonight. I'm sure we've all enjoyed it. It's been and we'll be doing this. We've already said we're going to be doing this once every month, so that it will be at least once every month will be reserved for our internal team, so that they can also air our opinions. They can have an avenue to discuss publicly and to profess solutions to the problems, to the multifarious issues and challenges and problems in Nigeria. Thank you, all of you who have continued to be faithful with us at home on social media. Thanks for always being with us on Sunday. Next week, Sunday, we're coming back again. And this time around, we'll be having the former chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, Dr. CHIDI Ansem ODINKALU, a product of Federal Government College, Okigwe, former president, national president of the Unity Schools Students Association, and a man who is one of the greatest fighters for human rights and civil liberties in Nigeria. Please make it a date with us, 6 p.m. next Sunday. Thank you all for joining. I want to appreciate our Sergeant Comrade Shola Fayemi. Want to appreciate the Deputy Secretary General Kenny. Want to appreciate our ASG Kende Akonde, who will be having his traditional wedding in Ibadan, hopefully in the next few days. And then, of course, Director Olada Afolabi, want to appreciate you, appreciate all those who have joined and one way or the other dropped off. Seun Olabinton, I believe Anu Adepoju and Comrade Dennis Agayako. Thank you for joining us. We want to appreciate all of you. And of course, most importantly, not by no means the least, our very hardworking, very hardworking provost of the institute, of the training institute, Senator Olu Messi. Want to appreciate you. Want to thank all of you for being part of this. See you again next Sunday. Have a fantastic week ahead. Bye for now. Thank you.
Recording stop.